Good to see you today. Thank you very much. It's always wonderful to be back up here in Wood County. I'll let everyone grab a seat here. Today, I'm joined here by members of our National Guard and West Virginia's law enforcement for an important announcement about the safety of our citizens. We also have a number of elected officials here today. I think I see, well, maybe one. This is good. Nice. Oh, and you. Nice to see you. Absolutely. Good to see you. It's nice that folks are here to talk about a very important issue for West Virginia. I think just about everyone here serves our state or our nation in one form or another, and I want to always thank the people that are doing the hard work because you're making a difference. You know, I know that when I served as the state attorney general, I was always very focused on the drug fights and what was happening and the undocumented aliens that were flooding into our country. And I used to call it the Biden border disorder because I knew that West Virginia was a border state because we had to wrestle with the consequences of seemingly unlimited amounts of fentanyl flooding into our state. And that was in part to what was happening and the absolute callous indifference to human life that we were seeing over that period. Fentanyl was slaughtering our citizens, still is to some degree, but the numbers are coming down. So I was always motivated on these immigration issues by what we could do in West Virginia to reduce the drug problem. And so that's what got me very interested. And earlier this year, we were working with corrections and others on the 287G program, and I wanted to quickly signal my intent to let the state know we're going to stand by President Trump and his efforts to tighten up the border because it will matter for West Virginians. And that's exactly what we've done. And by the way, you could see the results with the Trump administration. They've been phenomenal. And I'm just so proud of our president and what he's done. It's not getting enough attention that this president is standing up, and what he's did from a border perspective is truly unbelievable. I want people to know that, and I know West Virginians are deeply grateful because I think it also ties into our broader efforts to get substance abuse deaths down. During the Biden administration, millions and millions of people unlawfully entered our country. We had no knowledge of who they were or if they were a threat to our citizens. This was an assault on our sovereignty and the rule of law. And quite frankly, it's an insult to those who immigrated here the right way. Biden's border disorder and the refusal to take action on illegal immigration made our country less safe. And West Virginia, well, we paid a very heavy price for that. Our state was flooded with massive amounts of fentanyl and other illicit drugs that tore apart so many of our communities. Now, we're still dealing with that mess. Fortunately, we've been working, and I've signed an executive order, and we've been taking action to direct the West Virginia Department of Homeland Security, the state police, and corrections to fully cooperate with ICE and other federal law enforcement agencies to help this president enforce implementation of his goals to close down the border. We also sent a letter to local law enforcement, letting them know of their options to be part of this as well. And our intent is to take any legal necessary action to protect our citizens. So I've always done as Attorney General. That's what I'm going to keep doing as governor. We need to make sure that we're stepping up in this area. And that brings us to why we're here today. I talked a little bit earlier in the year about the importance of the 287G program. Well, today I'm pleased to announce that the West Virginia National Guard, the state police, and the Division of Corrections have all signed memorandum of agreement with ICE to begin formal participation. Now, we had some announcements earlier this year, but now it's clear these agencies are going to be putting the time in and they're getting trained. And in many cases, this is training of about 40 hours for the individuals who will be participating in. That's significant. 287G, as many of you know, is a program from ICE that delegates to states and local law enforcement officers the authority to perform specified immigration enforcement functions. And the National Guard and state police, they're going to participate in the task force model, which includes a number of different authorities. I'll just tick off a few, but the others will be available on our website. This gives them the ability to interrogate any alien or person believed to be an alien as to his right to remain in the United States, to process for violations those individuals who've been arrested for state and federal criminal offenses. And then there are a number of other areas to arrest without warrant for felonies which have been committed and which are cognizable under any law of the United States regulating admission, exclusion, or removal of aliens if the officer had a reason to believe that a violation of law occurred. And there are a number of other tasks as well that are very important. And what's happening here is that the local and state authorities were going to be working very closely with ICE in order to make a huge difference in helping this president achieve his goals and helping our citizens, quite frankly, feel safer in their communities. That's what it's all about. If you remember from some of my previous press conferences earlier in the year, West Virginia had a number of illegal aliens that were detained at our state correction facilities. Back in February, we would count about 60 to 70 on any given day, and that number fluctuates hour to hour on a daily basis. As of 9 o'clock this morning, West Virginia has 88 illegal aliens in its custody. We have 13 illegal aliens that are housed in West Virginia prisons who are convicted of crimes and serving a sentence, 28 who have been arrested on federal or local charges and have active ICE detainers, and 46 are being detained on immigration charges, including for matters such as failing to appear in court before a deportation judge or entering the country after previously being deported. So we've been busy working to get these memos signed, and we have 3 agencies that are going to be fully cooperative with the federal government to help participate in the efforts to protect our people. I think that's critically important, and I'm going to make sure that we're doing everything we can to back up some of the people behind me to make sure that folks know that West Virginia, we're going to protect our citizens. West Virginia does feel the impact of illegal immigration. And so all these people that pretend it doesn't matter, it really does. We're going to get the fentanyl off our streets. We're going to make sure that illegal immigration doesn't have the impact in West Virginia that, quite frankly, it did during the Biden administration. I'm excited about the training program. I think that's a great opportunity for a lot of our state workers and for the Guard. And, you know, I can tell you that the training programs are going to be beginning very, very soon. The goal is to get as many of our personnel trained in order to be effective partners with ICE, Homeland Security, and the Trump administration. Here in West Virginia, we stand for law and order. And with President Trump in the White House, we're going to restore the rule of law at our borders and throughout our country. This is about protecting our citizens, and West Virginia is going to do its part to keep our communities safe. Now, I'd like to recognize a couple of the people who come up and say a few words about what's going on with their agencies. We'll hear from Jim Seward first, Major General Jim Seward, who's our terrific Adjutant General. He's doing a really good job. What a jewel for West Virginia. So we're really happy with him. We have Colonel Jim Mitchell, and Jim Mitchell's doing a great job as the superintendent of the West Virginia State Police. He's really stepped up, and I think people are seeing the cultural difference that Jim is making. This is outstanding. And then David Kelly, former delegate who's now our Commissioner of Corrections and Rehab. He's putting so much time and energy in, and people can see the difference that these gentlemen are making. And I also want to make sure I recognize Joe Gigliotti, who's the Assistant Field Office Director for ICE based out of Philadelphia. So we're really grateful that you're in today. And obviously our elected officials, Delegate Foggins and Senator Azinger. We spend a lot of time up here in Wood County and the Mid-Ohio Valley. That's because this is an important part of the state. And we want to let people know, whether we're talking economic development, whether we're talking protecting our citizens from crime, or a host of different items. We'll have more news related to BEAD and our broadband infrastructure this week. We're going to keep doing everything we can to help this region of the state, and quite frankly, all parts of West Virginia remain safe and strong. So it's great to be up here again today, and now I'm happy to turn the podium over to Major General Jim Seward. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor. Good morning. As the Governor said, the National Guard stands by ready to assist where we can with the ICE mission. The National Guard is uniquely qualified for this role because of our dual mission supporting state and federal entities. And we've briefed the Governor that we have 175 certified law enforcement officers that will be going through this training to assist ICE where they are needed. The DoD is actively providing resources to support the interagency partners and leading the response to the declared national emergency. We will serve President Trump and Governor Morrisey within the bounds of the law and protecting West Virginians. Thank you.
Great.
Colonel?
Colonel?
Thank you, Governor. I'm Jim Mitchell with State Police. We are very excited to be able to help the governor in this initiative. Every member of the West Virginia State Police are extremely dedicated to the citizens of the state. I personally believe we have one of the greatest states in the country. And this is another way that some very highly trained professional law enforcement officers in the state police and can assist in further protecting the citizens of our state. And we are very excited about complete cooperation and collaboration with ICE. And we hope that this sends a message to people throughout West Virginia that if you're illegal, if you're committing crimes, that is not welcomed here in this state. And we're, again, honored to be able to participate in this program. So thank each of you, and thank you, Governor.
Great.
Thank you, Governor. Good morning, folks. We're excited at DCR to be part of this. Thank you for being here. This program enables our division to serve and execute administrative warrants for criminal aliens who currently are in our custody. It's a powerful tool that allows us to work closely in collaboration with federal immigration authorities. That's not just good policy. It makes sense. And that's what we're here to do, is make sense of the madness that we saw over the last 4 years. By preventing the premature release of potentially dangerous individuals, we reduce the risk to our communities, and we make use of our law enforcement resources. It's about being smart, efficient, and proactive. The 287G program directly supports the mission of the West Virginia Division of Corrections and Rehabilitation, which is to enhance public safety, to promote accountability among offenders, and to facilitate their successful reintegration into society. You see, it's not just about enforcement, it's about responsibility, rehabilitation, and results. And let me be clear this morning. This program helps protect the citizens of this great state from gang activity, from drug-related crimes, violent offenses, and other dangers that threaten our public safety. It's one more way that we can help make West Virginia a better place to live, a better place to work, and a better place to raise a family. Thank you.
Great. Joe?
Good morning, everybody. We are proud to partner with Governor Morrisey, the West Virginia National Guard, the West Virginia State Police, and the Division of Corrections and Rehabilitation through the 287G program. This program is going to enable officers to enforce certain aspects of immigration laws. These will include the ability to identify, process removable aliens with pending or active criminal charges, enforce limited immigration authorities with ICE oversight during routine police duties, and to serve and execute administrative warrants on removable aliens in the regional jail and state jail systems. These programs are consistent with President Trump's January 20th, 2025 Executive Order number 14159, protecting the American people against invasion. This executive order requires ICE to authorize state and local law enforcement officials, as the Secretary of Homeland Security deems qualified and appropriate, under Section 287G of the Immigration and Nationality Act, to the maximum extent permitted by law. The participating state and local agencies signed a memorandum of agreement with ICE that, among other things, dictates the requirements, policies, procedure, the personnel, the training, the expenditures, and the liability of the 287G program between ICE and these law enforcement agencies. As Governor Morrisey had stated, ICE has 3 287G program models, all of which work under direct ICE supervision. The jail enforcement model, the task force model, and the warrant service officer program. ICE trains 287G officers on immigration law, multicultural communications, and avoiding racial profiling. The 287G program helps promote public safety. Within the agreement, these law enforcement agencies and ICE will work together to deport removable aliens from the state. There is no way that all these operations could take place without partnering with West Virginia. And this memorandum of agreement will help ICE to effect its mission in the state to protect the homeland by identifying, arresting, and removing individuals who undermine the safety of our communities, national security, and the integrity of U.S. immigration laws. These include individuals who are unlawfully present in the United States, pose a threat to national security, public safety, or otherwise are in violation of our immigration laws. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And as per tradition, love to turn it over. Any comments?
I would like to thank all of you for your diligent efforts to protect my family, my friends, my state, and my country. I really appreciate you guys for that.
Thank you. Really appreciate you coming. Any comments, thoughts?
I'll just say real quickly, everyone loves to hear from a politician, but I appreciate the governor get behind President Trump in this. And I was just reading today and yesterday, actually, 2 million fewer illegal immigrants in the country than a year ago. And 1 million illegal immigrants have self-deported and left by themselves. And we are a nation of immigrants, but we want immigrants who love America and who will fly the American flag and not the flag of their country of birth. This is America. Let's love America. So thank you, Governor Morrisey, and all you men that I admire so much and appreciate so much. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Senator. And let me say that the success from the Trump administration with respect to addressing the really difficult immigration issues, that's a story that needs to be told far and wide across the country. It's not getting enough attention. I know that I consistently, during the Biden administration, we chastised some of the folks. Half the networks weren't even covering what was going on, and West Virginians were being slaughtered. And I said, that's absolutely unacceptable. Now, you have an administration that is doing an unbelievable job, and they're restoring sanity to the border. That's saving people's lives. I want to make sure people know about that. And that's why I'm very interested. We're full-throated. We're all in to work and partner with ICE and this president because it does make a difference on the ground. And so I'm really appreciative to stand by these gentlemen today. And I'm just grateful for all the incredible work they're doing to protect West Virginians and to keep people safe. Now happy to answer any questions from the media.
I've kind of got a procedural one and the related one. I assume it didn't take you 6 months to convince these 3 pressure employees to sign the memo. Was it wait for the training? I mean, what?
No, we're having discussions as we're doing this, and we got out in front early on one of the initiatives, and we wanted to follow up with the remaining ones. And I'm proud of our team. I think the folks over at Homeland and State Police and Corrections and the Guard, they've been proactive in doing a lot of the transformation of state government. So there's a lot that's been on the plate, but I can tell you that West Virginia is fully engaged and that we're really proud to announce this partnership today. But, obviously you have to have conversations and exchange the paperwork and do things the right way. But these guys have a lot of work on their plate, all of them, and I think they've been doing a great job.
What's the role of the National Guard in this? It's pretty obvious what corrections will do since they have people in custody and the policing function of the state police. But what's envisioned for the National Guard?
Jim, do you want to chat about
Certainly, certainly. Thank you, Governor. As I mentioned earlier, we have approximately 175 certified law enforcement officers in the National Guard who will be undergoing the training, and they will assist ICE in those types of duties that Joe talked about, whether that's assisting ICE officers on the street, working on paperwork, as necessary. They're allowed under law, because they're certified law enforcement officers and they will have the ICE training, they will be allowed to assist law enforcement in law enforcement type duties, but that's restricted to our law enforcement officers.
So none of the people that ICE has in our correctional system now, other than being arrested maybe for a crime they committed in West Virginia, our state law enforcement agencies haven't been involved in picking these people up, right?
I don't know the answer to that, but I'm sure we can get you the answer if somebody behind me.
I think to date, it's been limited to the Department of Corrections because we had announced that earlier this year, but now we're announcing the expansion to state police and to National Guard. Any other questions from the media? Brett, WTAP? Anyone?
I got an unrelated question.
I'm telling you, these open press conferences, just make sure you cover the main show. Half the time we hear that the people ask different questions, and then you come up to an event, and that's why we're up there? I'm just kidding with you, Bob. Go.
I'm in a position to paraphrase a conversation that I didn't actually hear, but I understand that President Hardesty from the state school board was extremely critical of the positions you've taken on the vaccine, and how basically, I think there was a comment made that we need to teach civics so we can understand the separate functions.
Yeah, look, I mean,
of government, and I guess my question is now school is starting in some places. What should people do?
Look, at the end of the day, and I've said this, the school board has been dramatically overreaching, and I think that there's just an utter lack of understanding of what the law is, and that we're trying to breathe meaning into two different laws in order to ensure that religious freedom is being respected. And, some people, they don't want to go through and do the hard work and read the different laws and see how this works. And also now we have two courts that have upheld our position. It's a strong position. Obviously we're going to keep pressing away in court or ultimately have the legislature take action. So we're going to proceed. At the end of the day, this is something that will change. It's simply a question of when. And just deeply disappointing that the school board is overreaching and not recognizing that they're out of touch with West Virginia on not only this issue, but a lot of the other issues that have come to the fore. And we're going to have a lot of broader discussions about the role of the school board, because we need to make sure that there's political accountability with all officials in West Virginia government.
Before I came here, I got a hold of a press release from the West Virginia Mountain Party. I guess they're organizing a protest against ICE being in West Virginia. Have you heard about this, and do you have any kind of response? I guess there's always these things where you see different things happening in different parts of the country. They're worried about certain things happening or people's rights maybe not fully observed. What's your response?
Look, the First Amendment is a wonderful thing. And so folks have the ability to go out and protest to their heart's content. I want to thank ICE and the leadership that's been shown by that agency and also by the Trump administration for closing down the border. That's the big story. And so, the work that they're doing is critical to protect citizens in West Virginia and across the country. And so, we respect the First Amendment, and they have the ability to go out and talk about any issue that they want. But we're not going to be slowed down in terms of protecting our citizens from the ravages of fentanyl or from undocumented aliens streaming across the border. West Virginia is going to play an important role in supporting the Trump administration on that. Any other questions? I want to thank everyone for coming, and we'll see you again soon. Appreciate it.